मतलब मैं जानदा ही नहीं हैगा ब्लैक हिस्टरी की है। पहला तो सानू इस चीज़ बारे पता दसो भी ब्लैक हिस्टरी है की चीज़।
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਜਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਹੋਸਟ ਗੁਰਮੀਤ ਸੋਢੀ, celebrating the Black History Month, and ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡਾ ਫਾਈਨਲ ਸ਼ੋ ਹੈਗਾ concluding the Black History Month. All month of February ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹਰ ਹਫਤੇ different segment of Black History Month ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ. We've covered the leaders of Black history, we've covered the movie artists, we've covered the entertainers in the music industry, and ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ discuss ਕਰਾਂਗੇ who are the comedians, the stage performers in African American society. ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਛੋਟਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਕਲਿੱਪ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ, there's a reason ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਹਫਤੇ a different episode ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ, showing you different aspects and richness, culture of African Americans. ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਰਵੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਹਿਲ, ਕੁਈਨਸ ਅੰਦਰ, ਜੈਕਸਨ ਹਾਈਟਸ ਜਾ ਕੇ different areas of New York ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊਜ਼ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ, ਸਰਵੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਸੀ ਦੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੋਕ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਬਲੈਕ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ 'ਚ। ਐਂਡ ਯੂਲ ਬੀ ਸਰਪ੍ਰਾਈਜ਼ਡ ਕਿ ਕਈ ਲੋਕ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਚਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਬਲੈਕ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਹੈ ਕੀ, ਇਹ ਮਹੀਨਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਸੈਲੀਬ੍ਰੇਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਔਰ who are the people who've contributed, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ contributions ਹੈਗੀ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ। and it's very important for us to know that. ਕਿਉਂ? Not just because of general knowledge, but because being a minority, you need to know who are some of the people who gave up something for us to have some rights in this country also. And yes, I do say for us to have some rights here as well, because agar dekhya jaye, pehle black logan nu, African Americans nu, there was a lot of segregation. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੋਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਲਾਉ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਸੇਮ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਅੰਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ, ਸੇਮ ਬੱਸਿਸ ਅੰਦਰ ਰਾਈਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ। there were a lot of different things they weren't allowed to do, but just because one person, one man, one woman, ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਲਿੱਤਾ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਇਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਫ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਹੀ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਹੈ, but they took a stand for themselves to earn that respect, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ the law changed, the country's concept changed, a lot of things changed, and here we are today. We have a black president. Look at where we've come in last 50, 60 years, 70 years. Slaves, there were slaves here, but now today you cannot say that. Look how far we've come, that we have President Barack Obama representing our country to the world. And yes, I do say our country to the world because we're all part of the United States if we're living here. So with that, we're going to take you around the culture, the richness of this great society, so you can learn a little more about it today as we will conclude our Black History Month with you. I also know the kids are off from school. This is the winter break time. So of course, I want all you kids to call in and tell us what your talents are. Today, we're going to be talking about all the comedians, the entertaining artists who've made us laugh and cry on the stage. So if there's anyone out there who can do any impersonation of Eddie Murphy, Medea, Tyler Perry, Chris Rock, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, come on in, call, tell us what it is that you can do. We would love to hear and share a laughter with you. With that, we start our show today with none other than Tyler Perry, Miss Medea, as we know her. Yes, agar tusi Tyler Perry de bare ch nahi sune, or you haven't seen some of his movies, you should check them out. He's hilarious, he's funny, and he's a strong man where he was to where he is today. He was born in 1969. He's an actor, director, playwright, screenwriter, producer, author, and a songwriter. That's right. He can do all of these things. He's a very successful artist, and he was a successful artist in Southern theater. He began to make national celebrity status in 2005 with the release of his first movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. In 2009, Perry was ranked by Forbes magazine as the 6th highest paid man in Hollywood. He has won critical praise for playing Medea, a mentally strong woman who handles adversity with optimism and happiness. His critically acclaimed portrayal of her in the award-winning Medea series has caused him to be one of the most respected black men in Hollywood. As of July 2009, Perry's films had grossed nearly $400 million worldwide. It's very interesting when you think about it, where Tyler Perry came from and where he is today. Kithoं o aaye sige aur aaj kithe ne. It's very interesting because this was a man who didn't have it all. He was a self-made man. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਮਾਪਿਓ ਪੈਸੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਖੜਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਲਬੂਤੇ ਤੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ. He was born in New Orleans. His family consisted of 3 siblings, his mom and his dad, Emmett Sr., who was a carpenter. Perry ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ, his only answer to everything was beat it out of him. As a child, Perry went so far as to attempt suicide to get away from the beatings of his father. In contrast to his father, his mother took him to church every week where he sensed a certain refuge and contentment. At age 16, he had his first name legally changed from Emmett to Tyler. And the only reason for doing that is because he didn't want to be like his father. After seeing the film Precious, he was moved to relate for the first time accounts of being molested by a friend's mother and by another friend's father at age 10, and finding out that his own father was molesting a friend. While Perry did not complete high school, he did get his GED. In his early 20s, watching an Oprah Winfrey talk show, he heard someone describe the sometimes therapeutic effort that the act of writing can have, enabling the author to work out his or her own problems. And you know what? We hear this all the time from our parents. Write, 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 write. Whatever's on your mind, write it out. You'll be amazed. It, for one, puts you in peace with yourself. Second, it only makes you smarter when you put your thoughts down on a piece of paper. I do it myself. This comment inspired him to apply himself in a career of writing. He soon started writing a series of letters to himself, which became the basis for the musical I Know I've Been Changed. Around 1990, he moved to Atlanta, where 2 years later, I Know I've Been Changed was first performed at a community theater. Financed by $12,000, life savings of the 22-year-old Perry. It included Christian themes of forgiveness, dignity, and self-worth while addressing issues such as child abuse and dysfunctional families. The musical initially received a less than stellar reception and a financial failure. Perry persisted, and over the next 6 years, he rewrote the musical repeatedly through lackluster reviews continued. He did not give up. I want all the kids out there who are watching this, keep one thing in mind. Persistence does go a long way. Don't give up easy if it doesn't work out the first time around. In 1998, at age 28, a retooling of the play in Atlanta became a success. Perry continued to create new stage productions, touring with them on the so-called Chitlin circuit, and developing a large devoted following among African Americans audiences. In 2005, Forbes reported that he had sold more than $100 million in tickets, 30 million in videos of his shows, and an estimated 20 million in merchandise. And the 300 live shows he produces each year are attended by an average of 35,000 people per week. He received a $5.5 million budget to fund his first movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, which went on to gross $50.6 million domestically, while scoring a 16% approval rating at the film review website Rotten Tomatoes. On its opening weekend in 2006, Perry's version of Medea's Family Reunion opened at #1 at the box office with $30.3 million. The film eventually grossed $65 million. Perry and his co-stars promoted the film on Oprah Winfrey's show. As with The Diary, almost all of the Medea's earnings have been generated in the United States. So this tells you a lot. I'm not talking about in thousands anymore. I'm talking in millions. This was a man who started out with $12,000 of his own life savings. In matters of few years, he went from $12,000 to grossing $60 million, $50 million. That really says something about persistence. From there on,